It's everything that's wrong with the BBC. Everything that is wrong with the BBC is caused by the licence fee. Hi, it's me again, and I got a weird email from Ofcom. I'm on the Ofcom mailing list because every now and then I get something interesting about the BBC. And today, I did. Look at the email they sent me, look. BBC must do more to serve audiences on lower incomes. The BBC needs to do more to reach and resonate with viewers and listeners on lower incomes, Ofcom has found in its annual report on the BBC's performance. So why do you think that could be? Could it be something to do with the fact that people on lower incomes and lower income households are absolutely fed up with having to find 13 quid a month or 159 quid a year, or risk getting those shitty letters that try and scare people into paying for something they may not need with threats of court and £1,000 fines? The people on lower incomes are the people getting this crap from the BBC and the people struggling to pay it and being made to feel like they have to pay it. And they're not getting their value for money. They don't feel that they're getting value for money. If you're upper class or you've got a few quid, you probably won't even notice 13 quid a month going out of your bank. And so you're not noticing how little value for money you get from the BBC. You just think if something you pay is 13 quid a month, doesn't make a difference, barely a packet of fags nowadays, it's fine. But when you're on lower incomes and you're struggling and you feel like you have to pay that 13 quid a month, what are you actually getting for it? How much BBC do you actually watch? So they're fed up with it. So that's why this has come out. Ofcom is telling the BBC, oi, sort yourself out, son, because you're pissing a lot of people off. That's what this is about, isn't it? In the regulator's annual report on the corporation, they said people from lower socio-economic groups are less engaged and less satisfied. To be fair, the BBC has always been a bit middle class, isn't it? And there's more of a divide coming between the lower class and the middle classes now, isn't there? It's bad at the minute. And the BBC just don't care. They just want their money. They're going to send you shitty letters. And that is putting people off. And also, when you turn on the BBC, if you're from a lower socio-economic background, such as myself, no one on the BBC really talks like me or acts like me or I can reflect in. Not that I watch a lot of BBC, but we have BBC News on sometimes in the office and that because we have a telly licence there. You don't see anyone like you know, on the posher people. A lot of northerners on there now as well. But do you know what I mean? You can't resonate with it. You can't. And there's nothing on there for me. I go through the BBC's TV guide listing thing on the website all the time. I very rarely see something that interests me, apart from Homes Under the Hammer. I do miss watching Homes Under the Hammer. But do you know what I mean? They're not reflecting the lower part of the lower part. It's wrong to even call them that. They're people. They're the salt of the earth. They're the people that keep this country bloody going. BBC. Our annual report on the BBC finds it needs to do more to appeal to lower income audiences. This group is less likely to use BBC content or be satisfied with how they're portrayed or be represented in the BBC's workforce. Well, probably to work at the BBC you have to know someone, and if you have to know someone that means you probably had to go to the right school or the right university, and someone like myself who did not go to the right school or the right university would have no chance at all of getting a job at the BBC. Not that I'd want one, but you know the point I'm trying to make. And it says here, the group is less likely to use BBC content and be satisfied with how they're portrayed. So they're not happy with how they're being portrayed by the BBC, and they don't use BBC content, but the BBC still demand with shitty, horrible, scary red letters that you pay them. And they wonder why people have had enough of the BBC. It also wants the broadcaster to set out its overall strategy for improving perceptions among disenfranchised audiences, including how it is acting on viewer and listener research. Why do you need Ofcom to do this? Why can't the BBC do it themselves? If my company was struggling to make money and struggling to reach new clients, we'd have a chat about it, we'd have an internal review and we'd work out what we can do to improve our public perception to make more money. You don't need the regulator to come in and do this for you. It's everything that's wrong with the BBC. Everything that is wrong with the BBC is caused by the licence fee. Everything. Because they don't have to try. They don't have to try to make better programmes to make you want to watch the BBC. Because it doesn't matter. They don't have to bring in advertising revenue. They don't have to try to bring in better people or do anything. They don't have to try at all. They don't have to do any research. They don't have to do anything. Because no matter what they do, they're going to get their licence fees every year, which stands at about 3.7 billion quid a year at the minute. They don't have to try for that. Whereas you don't see these sort of reports into Channel 4 or ITV, I think they probably can report on ITV, but they definitely can on Channel 4. You don't see it because they have to try hard. They're commercial. They have to try to reach all audiences, make all audiences fit them, to bring in more audience, to bring in more advertising. No, you know the point I'm trying to make. More people watching means more advertisers on board, which means more money. The BBC don't have that problem. Everything that's wrong with the BBC is caused by the television licence fee. And if they dumped it and went commercial, the BBC would be better overnight. Overnight. I'm trying to protect you and save you, BBC. I am. But you'd never bring me in as a consultant because I didn't go to the right school. Not that I could consult on anything, anyway. What do you think about this then? BBC are just lazy and they don't care. That's how I think about it. The licence fee is knackering them. You don't have to try. Why would you go to work, for instance, yourself? If someone was giving you £4,000 a month, you wouldn't go to work, would you? You wouldn't need to. And that's the same thing with the BBC. Being gifted that money, they don't have to go to work. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because that way, hopefully, I'll see you in another video again soon, won't I? Ta-da!